Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for being on the show today with Oceania Catholic Homeschooler. Sarah was homeschooled for many years and she's finished and done some speech and drama exam stuff. And she's gotten married in December. So, hope married life's been treating you well.
Oh, it's been amazing. Yeah, no, it's been a great last few months. Been a great experience, and I'm loving it.
Would you say homeschooling prepared you for that at all?
I would say that it did in some way, especially because I was around the home a lot of the time. So I had to learn to take on a lot of responsibilities, such as doing the dishes most nights, looking after younger kids, doing the washing, looking after a household. It also taught me a lot of skills socially as well. Yeah,
Wow.
I had to go out and meet people because I didn't just have, friends that I'd met at school. I actually had to go out and really put myself out there.
Wow, that's real interesting because a lot of people have the question of, how do you socialize?
Yeah, no, I don't think I had that problem necessarily.
And with your love for drama and acting, how did that develop through homeschooling?
Well, right from a young age, I was a performer. I would put on little shows for my parents and for my younger siblings, also for my grandparents sometimes. Then, when I got to about 6 or 7, maybe it was about 8, I did my first proper production. I actually auditioned.
Wow.
And I got the part of one of the lost boys in Peter Pan, which was amazing. Then I was a character in an adaptation of The Three Little Pigs. I was a character in Alice in Wonderland. I also did a lot of drama classes or theatre kind of clubs, drama clubs. That was really fun. That kind of expanded my skills when it came to performing. Then I was getting there to kind of my school kind of years finishing. I was sort of in year 13 and I wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go in terms of university or extracurriculum. Then we met a lady, another homeschool mum, who taught drama and helped kids go through the New Zealand Speech Board exams. So we thought, this is perfect. She agreed to do it with me for not very much, and I loved it, and it was a great experience. It meant I actually had to kind of step outside my comfort zone when it came to exams. Even though it was just like performing, it was quite different when you're actually being judged by your performance.
Because it would be a bit different, especially after homeschooling, to go into the pressure.
It was
exam.
quite different because it's the difference between your mum just marking your schoolwork than like going to an actual examiner who is marking you even closer and is a lot stricter on your grades, so to speak.
And when you were homeschooling, did your mom mostly grade your work or did you have online curriculums resources?
For most of my school years, Mum would grade my maths and my English based on what the book said was the right grading. Then, once we discovered an online curriculum called Homeschool Connections, which is a Catholic American school website, most of the stuff on there, especially if they were quizzes, were graded automatically. My mum would sometimes have to grade the extra stuff, like the paperwork, but most of it was just graded online, which I think was quite helpful for her because she had so many kids that she needed to see to. She couldn't. It was a bit different than having a classroom with different teachers, I guess.
Yeah, because you're from a big family, aren't you? So how many are in your family?
I have 8 siblings, so I'm the eldest of 9.
Wow.
Yeah, so definitely used to having lots of children around, and you kind of had to get used to it. But no, I love it. I loved having lots of siblings. It was, yeah, after getting married, I actually kind of missed the noise. Yeah. But no, it's great. Yeah. And it meant I had to take on the responsibilities, the responsibility of having younger siblings, had to sort of be mum's right hand helper, especially when it came to going out to events or just going out in general. When it came to getting ready, it'd be like, where's this person's shoes, or where's this person's hat, or do we have enough food to keep us going, or right, everybody in the car, are we missing anybody?
So one day when you have your own kids, you're never going to be in lack of practice.
Hopefully not, no. Yeah.
So with you and all of your siblings, how did homeschooling affect how you grew in your faith?
Well, pardon me. I think being homeschooled really helped my faith, because mum and dad really made an effort to teach us all the faith. And evening prayers was a big thing. I think is still a big thing in my mum and dad's home, and when I was at home. And we would all go to mass together, and we would all do our devotions together. And for most of the big feast days, mum would make an effort to organize activities for us to do based on that saint. Or she would teach us to read the lives of the saints, and she would really give us examples of the saints. Then all of us would try and imitate that. And when it comes to practicing virtue, having younger siblings kind of, I wouldn't say forces you, but definitely gives you plenty of opportunities to practice virtue, which was great, especially patience with younger siblings, tired younger siblings. And it also, taught you to love one another even when you didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise nothing's going to go the way it should. Everything's just going to fall apart. Yeah. So I think that really helped me in my faith a lot.
And yeah. Going back to the feast days, for specific feast day celebrations, specifically for anyone watching this who might be looking for ideas, what do you guys do to celebrate feast days?
Well, for example, we have recently had the feast of Saint Joseph, the foster father of our Lord. And for a long time, my mum has really tried to prepare a Saint Joseph dinner, like a Saint Joseph table, that all of us kids would be involved in putting together. So it would be lots of traditional sort of Italian food to celebrate Saint Joseph, because it was started by the Italians when they had a massive famine. I can't remember exactly how many years ago it was, but there was a massive famine in Italy, and they all prayed to Saint Joseph. And through those prayers, I think like a lot of rain started coming and kind of revived the crops. And to thank him for that, they put together this massive feast to celebrate Saint Joseph. Wow. So my mum would make things like spaghetti pasta, like spaghetti dishes with breadcrumbs on the top to represent the sawdust of St. Joseph's carpentry. And wow. We would make like traditional Italian desserts like profiteroles. I can't remember the Italian name for them. And we would make like bread in the shape of like the crown of thorns, or like St. Joseph's hammer, or even a lily. And then we would put it all on the table with a St. Joseph statue in the middle. And yeah, it was just amazing. I remember the first year Mum put it together, we were like, wow, we need to do this every year. So now every year it comes to the Feast of St. Joseph, and my siblings are like, Mum, can we do the St. Joseph dinner? Yeah, and that really, I guess, helped us younger kids to it sort of brought the saint to life for us.
Wow.
And also for the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is normally in December, the 12th of December, Mum would make Mexican food, and we would, we have a picture of Our Lady of Guadalupe, and we would kind of decorate around it, and we'd put her on the prayer table, the family prayer table, and we would read a book of her every year that Mum had got. And yeah, there were lots of other feast days, and that's just, it's so amazing because it means that we're looking forward to that every year, and it sort of was imprinted on our minds as, yes, this is an amazing saint and we want to celebrate this saint.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the feast days and that. I hope you invite me over one time for one of those.
Well, we might have, have to have our own one next year. But yeah.
And one last thing before we finish is, for homeschooling students, would you have a study tip?
A study tip. Well, it really depends how many siblings you have. One thing I found really helpful, especially as I got older and my work was I was becoming more independent in my work, was having your own space to study if it's possible. I know sometimes it's hard in big families to kind of have your own space, but even just if you're studying and if you're, writing in a book, or if you have to read a kind of, I always found biology was really hard to stay focused for me, reading my biology textbook. Having something just kind of some classical music in the background, or some very quiet, peaceful music. If you're allowed to use headphones, listen to that while you're studying, and it really helps you keep focused.
Wow.
Because I've personally find it really hard to focus on something if there's lots of noise, loud, busy noise going in the background. So even if you can't have your own space necessarily, doing something like that kind of helped me to focus.
Especially
especially if you're part of a big family.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for being on the show today.
My pleasure,
Thank
Anastasia.
you to everyone watching.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. This has been great.